Hello everybody and welcome to TRS Live. I am your host Matt Trotz. Man, I hope you're having a terrific day. I know I am. Here I am just waving everybody at the Real Shot. How's everybody doing today? Are you ready to save some money? I know that I am ready to save you some money and also do my best to educate you on a great selection of products that the Real Shot carries. So let's just catch you up to speed here. If you are new to TRS Live, our goal here is to not only save you a bunch of money, but it's also to educate you on maybe some tips and tactics that you've never done before. Also show you the wide variety of products that the Real Shot carries. The Real Shot is out of Appleton, Wisconsin. You can go to therealshot.com and shop along because that's where all the deals here on TRS Live are going to be. The other thing too is we're going to save you a bunch of money, like I said, but I'm going to give you some tips and tactics on also how you can also save some money on TRS Live. So let's kind of get into some things first and foremost. So Fix TV is the great company that brings you TRS Lives, brings you Jake Jacobs Show, and a bunch of other great shows. But we need your support to help keep those shows rolling, like the Guide to Life per se. So by becoming a Fix TV subscriber, it's only $5.99 a month. You get access to all the great shows like Head to Head, the Jake Jacobs Show, the past Guide to Life shows, and also any new shows that are coming forth, which I know there's some pretty cool shows that we are currently working right now on Fix TV. But I'm talking about how I'm going to save you some money, so let's get into some of those tips on how you can save some money. So here we go. So yes, it's $5.99 a month, right? And you're helping support all the great content that you love on the Fix TV platform. But what we're going to do right away is we're going to credit you back $5 for you to use here on TRS Live. So every month you are a Fix TV subscriber, you will get a $5 credit to use here on TRS Live or therealshot.com. Now the other thing too is we have a refer a friend program, right? So Matt, you're like, dude, I'm already saving you $5, but let me make it a lot easier for you as well. Refer a friend and gain yourself a month free of viewing. So basically it could be 99 cents a month. If you do it right, it could be 99 cents for a full year of viewing on the Fix TV platform, and that's PHYXTV.com. So go ahead, check it on out, scroll around, all the past head-to-head shows are on there. I got some new content coming forth for the Guide to Life. Jake has been crushing it. If you haven't been following along with the Jake Jacobs Show, I highly encourage you to check that one out. So, I mean, that's just some way, again, that I can help save you money that way, but also then talking about discounting these products. Now, let's get into some of the product too here. The product information is therealshot.com. That's where you're going to find all the products that we talk about. So go to therealshot.com. That's REELSHOT.com. Check that on out. Now you're going to see there's a lot of cool products on there. There's a lot of things going on. One thing that is going on right now at the Real Shot in-store and online is the Labor Day sale. We have started that sale. That one actually started on August 29th, and it runs all the way to the 5th. So if you are looking for a screaming deal on some awesome products, check this out on the website. Check it out if you are in store. I know we are kind of dropping these in everybody's checkout bag, but there are a lot of awesome deals that we got here. And I know I was talking to a gentleman just the other day, and he came in and saw some of our waterfall deals right here. And he said, first and foremost, your prices are cheaper than everybody else, right? We try to stay competitive as we could. And then he goes, and then you're discounting waterfall. The season starts tomorrow in Wisconsin, some of the early seasons. And he's like, dude, I've been looking for not only these decoys, but this bag, so on and so forth. And now you are discounting it. And I mean, look, this is 20%. Are you kidding me on waterfall right now? The other thing too, man, archery season in Wisconsin is right around the corner. It's probably right around the corner for you in some other states too. And some of you I know are already archery hunting. But we got 20% off archery accessories that are in stock. I mean, bows, there's bow deals, crossbow deals. Still fishing, a ton of fishing a deal. This is the big one too right here. I don't know, Scott, I'm going to show you this one right here. Apparel blowout sale on some of your favorite brands up to 75% off sales on this Labor Day sale right now. So I know you're getting ready and amped up. School's getting ready. Maybe your kids needs some flashy gear to go back to school in. Right now, the Real Shot online in-store has some amazing Labor Day sales. So, obviously we want you to help support the Real Shot by doing a little shopping, but make sure you don't miss what Labor Day is really all about. And then the other thing, too, is make sure to spend some time with family and friends as well. So, you know what? I asked you, help support it out. Check it on out, The Real Shot. It's the Labor Day sale. But the products that we talk about, the deals on TRS Live, are only good at therealshot.com. So while you're on that website and you're scrolling around, I distracted you with the Labor Day sale. The other thing, too, is we have a categories tab to make your shopping a lot easier on our platform there. But if you scroll down, you see TRS Live Shopping. Click on that. You're going to see the products that we've talked about in the past. You'll see a calendar of events for past shows, current shows. And the other thing, too, is you scroll through, so some of you will see some of the products that we talked about. Now, here is the caveat for that. Some of those products may not be on sale anymore. Some of these deals, I think we're kind of capping it at maybe a week, 2 weeks tops on some of these products. And that's a long time for a great deal like we're talking about on some of these awesome things here on TRS Live. But they may only be shorter than that. They may be 24 to 48 hours. So here's the deal. What you need to do is you need to go to Facebook, where you can watch Facebook, YouTube, check out therealshot.com, advance your notifications so you can get notified when we are going live. Set your schedule, set an alarm, do whatever you got to do. We're usually live here Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays around that 9 a.m. Central Standard Time, so you can get ready to save some money, and hopefully I can educate you on some of the different tactics and techniques to use some of these fishing baits that you see in front of me, or if it's archery or goose or duck. The other thing, too, is once in a while I get some of the great staff here from the Real Shot up here with me, and they help educate you. I can tell you, there's some areas that I have some pretty good knowledge on. So there's some areas like this first product that we're going to talk about, I have never done it, but I did a lot of homework, and I'm lucky for me, I have some great sources here at the Real Shot that I can bounce questions off and get their insights on a lot of this stuff too. So if you do have any questions on some of the products, if you're like, dude, Trotz didn't know what he was talking about today, but I'm really curious about, this product, reach out, social media, send us a message on our Facebook page, or you can call the store, 920-750-6140, and talk to any one of the great staffs in either the firearms, the hunting departments, the archery departments, or the wide selection of fishing products that we have here. Reach out to the staff. They'd be happy to help you out. So let me catch my breath and let's get right into the first product. So the first one of today is a Duo Realis. Now they're going to call it a Spinbait. It's a 72 Alpha. The color in particular is chartreuse shad. There you see the pricing. Normally $13.99 for one of these baits. Right now on TRS Live and therealshot.com, you're going to get one for $10.99. And this is one of those products that I think a lot of people are aware of, but maybe don't have the confidence in it, maybe really never gave it the effort and the time that it really needs. And I know, talking to like Kyle Carpenter, one of the best fishermen here at the store, he says that this thing absolutely catches fish, and I think it catches a lot more than just bass, which a lot of people use it for. I believe this could be a awesome walleye bait as well. So again, it's a Duo Realis. So there on the packaging here, we were having this conversation before we went live here. Trotz, he's like, you got to educate people. It's not a spin bait, it's a spy bait. But if you look at the packaging here for Duo Realis, they have spy baiting and they call it a spin bait on there. But either way, we're going to call it a spy bait the rest of today. But don't get confused, because if you look it up, it's the, what is the code there? DRSBA. You can type that in right to therealshot.com and find this product. So it is designed and created from the creative mind of Manchiro Adachi. If I said that wrong, I do apologize. But this gentleman is behind the efforts here of the spy bait. This is the chartreuse shad that we talked about. Look at the iridescence too. Look at the see-through color on this. That yellow line that going through there, that chartreuse line, that see-through. This is a great looking bait, and it's going to catch a wide variety of bass, largie, smallie, and potentially walleyes too if you throw it in the right areas. But let's continue on with some of the specs on it. Length is 2 7/8 inches long. The weight of this one is a 1/2 ounce. Now, this is a sinking style bait. It's got a number 6 treble hook on there. I can tell you right now, when I was playing with this before we went live, I hooked myself a number of times. So they are super, super sharp. The depth range that this bait will travel. So if you remember, right, Rapala had a bait. They call it the countdown. To me, this is very similar to that countdown. You throw it out, and at that 1/2 ounce, you're just going to count it down to the depth where you see your fish. And this is one of those things, too, with that live imaging that a lot of anglers are using now. This is definitely going to help you catch a lot more bass and walleyes, too, if they're all schooled up. But again, we talked about the fact that it can depth range 4 to 20 feet. So it's kind of a slow sinking bait. And then once you get it at that, it is a slow process of fishing this thing. And again, using resources like Kyle Carpenter here at the Reel Shop, he said that sometimes it could be the most boring style of fishing until the fish hits it. And he said when they hit this thing, they absolutely rip the rod out of your hand. And it is cool. Again, if you want to check out some research on this thing, this Spinbait, there's a lot of history on this thing. And it absolutely crushes big smallies when they are out over basins or they are out off the shore. And this is an awesome tactic to use. So this bait here, as you can see, compared to some of the other Spinbaits on there, it's got a meaty profile. So if you like that, if you like something a little more meaty, this is the bait for you. Again, it's the Spinbait 72. It's that alpha. It's in the chartreuse shad. Let's continue down. Increase casting distance with small and large diameter lines, which is important because, again, talking to Kyle, and I'm going to refer to Kyle a lot in this one. I used him for everything with this. This is the one thing that I wanted to fish. I haven't fished it as much as I would like to, but I went to Kyle for all this information. So what I mean by that is this is a super finessey style of fishing. So when the fish are a little lethargic, or when they are just not hitting everything else, this is one of those super awesome baits that you can use. Now, you notice here too, front and back, it's got a prop. So it creates a lot of disturbance in the water. It creates a lot of vibration. It gets a lot of movement. And it's pretty much like a saunter swimming action to this thing. If you watch some of the underwater footage on this bad boy, it kind of goes like this, but then you get those props to disturb that water and really help attract the fish. So let's continue talking about these propellers on the front. So these are 2 perfectly matched propellers. So the turbidity, say that a lot, I barely said it once, is necessary to fool big fish, right? Flash and vibration. This is also a powerful schooling bait. So we talked about when those fish are schooled up, and for the smallmouth bass, they like to call them wolf packs. I'm sure they do the same thing for walleyes. But, you know, when they are schooled up, and you want to target those fish effectively, and they are at a depth anywhere between that 4 to 20 feet, the Spinbait is a bait to go with on that. So as we talk about this too, I'm going to do my best to educate you on what rod, what reel, what line selection to go with as well. So I went downstairs here at the Reel Shop, and I was cruising through like the huge selection of the rod. Even though the season is kind of like, it's sad to say, it's kind of on the outs, right? There's still a lot of great fall fishing in Wisconsin, and depending on where you live in the United States, you know, there's still a lot of fishing coming forth. But I was like, holy smokes, we still have a ton of rods available in store and online. So one of them that I wanted to highlight, and one brand that is kind of new for us, is the TFO. It's the Temple Fork Outfitters. So I went downstairs and I was cruising around, and I was actually talking to Ty Cornell down there in the fishing area, and I said I need a good rod to talk about for Spinbaiting. And he's like, okay, so let's talk about the TFO. Now this is a professional walleye style rod here, but it's a 7.6 medium light, so it can handle some of those lighter lines that you're going to potentially use for Spinbaiting. So right here, this is a 7.6, it's a medium light. And again, when we talked about the rod actions, one of the things you got to pay attention to is the weights here. So this is a 1/8 ounce to a 1/2 ounce, which is just on the tip of this one. So if you say the medium light for you is a little too light, a little too whippy for this type of presentation, you know, check it out in the medium, you know. But the TFO, one thing that I'm going to highlight while we're talking about this TFO real quick is I like how the reel seat is designed on here, because again, I've kind of talked about on the show before, I like to have all my fingers ahead of the reel seat. Some people like to split grip, some people like to go this, some people like to do this. I like all my fingers above the reel seat. For me, it's just lot less fatigue. And the other thing it does here is, if you look, see on my pointer can go right on the blank itself. So it is a split grip rod right here. So the rod, the blank goes all the way to the cork end on the backside. Very well balanced. But for me, I like the fact that the reel seat is small. So it gives you a lot better sensitivity, a lot better feel. But then I can put my hand just like this and still get comfort all day long. Plus, if you look here, see how that butt end is right around my elbow length? I like that too for hook set power, and also give me a little action if I need to twitch to some baits like that. So the TFO I thought was a good rod to kind of highlight for this presentation. Again, a medium light, 7 foot to 7'6", live in that kind of world right there. Something that can handle that half-ounce bait is where you want to be too. And then, so then I paired it here. Again, I went down to the reel shot and I was looking for reels. And what did I grab here? I think this is the Daiwa Fuego. This is one of the bigger sizes. This is a 3,000 size. And the nice thing about it is, if you're fishing some of the small line like we're going to get into, I have a large spool capacity with this one, which is important for long casts, which you might be making, especially if you're fishing in clear water. But then it's got the guts, it's got the ball bearings, it's got a lot of good components at a very, very competitive price. That the Fuego is one of those popular spinning reels, and plus it's super smooth. This is a super smooth reel, and it balances very well. Again, it's balancing very well here. If you like to play that game here, find that balance. This is a really nice setup, and it's very affordable. We're saving you money on the baits, and a lot of these products, are, again, you kind of go through the Labor Day sale. Maybe you find some deals on some of this stuff, or you just have some $5 credit used up. But the TFO makes a really nice rod for that. So it's somewhere in that 7 foot to 7'6", between a medium and a medium light. For spy baiting is going to be a popular rod reel setup. And then again, because it's a super finessey presentation, the spy bait is, again, I was like, Kyle, let's talk line selection. He's like, here's what I like to do. So Kyle likes something that is a braid to fluoro combination. That is a real popular tactic for this. That clear water, that long fluorocarbon leader, depending on the length of it, how long you like to tie it, is something that's really good for it. But I was like, okay, let me start with your braid. So here I have, again, it's a Daiwa J braid. This is I grabbed a 10-pound. But the cool thing about it is this is a high vis. This is a chartreuse vis. And I was talking to him and he's like, all my spinning tackle, if I'm fishing a braid to fluoro or a braid to something lead, I want a high vis line, because not only does it allow me to see it, notice those simple bites, but it's just really good stuff. It shows up really well, and the fish don't care, especially if you have a long leader. So again, I just went down there. I'm like, okay, he said kind of 10-pound world for a braid. He said anywhere between 5 to 10-pound braid, depending on how finicky the fish are. So I grabbed the 10-pound. This is J braid. And then I went down there too, and I'm like, man, look at this. We have the floral leaders here. So this is a leader spool in the 6-pound. So the nice thing about this is a very affordable leader line. It's not a giant spool. So if you want some high quality leader from the Daiwa brand, again, you can see that here. But I'm just kind of show you too that the Reel Shot carries a wide variety of braid. I think we talked about Power Pro on this show, and as we continue on, there's some other lines too. But here's kind of the world that Kyle likes to live in, depending on what the fish are telling him, what the presentation is really looking like. A braid to fluoro lead, but super finessey. 10-pound might be a little heavier on this aspect, but then you connect it to that 6-pound lead and you'd be really good. Now, the nice thing about going with something like this is it gives you an opportunity to let the rod do the work, let the reel do the work, set your drag just correctly, and you will be really, really good. So then some of the other brands that Kyle mentioned to me, obviously he said that high vis, 6 to 10-pound fluoro leads. Some of the things he likes too is the Seaguard and VizX. That's one of the brands he likes. And then the big thing that he said too is a longer lead will allow the bait to fall correctly. So your leader line on this one, he likes something a little longer. So keep that in mind. And then we covered the super finesse style of fishing, very slow retrieve, hence the spinning reel. That's why a spinning reel is really popular for this. They are making gear ratios now in spinning reels, but something because you're just going to be a slow retrieve. But he said, yes, when the fish hit it, they absolutely will rip the rod right out of your hand. And then I said, okay, buddy, you gave me all the information for this bad boy here, the Duo Realis. This is the Spinbait 72 Alpha, and the color is chartreuse shad. It's a 1/2 ounce weight. I said, when? when do you throw this? Look at the colors right there as we see it on the screen. Man, that just, you see through it. It's got that sharp chartreuse line through it. It looks absolutely great. He said it is a popular bait year-round, depending on where you're fishing, but summer, fall is a real good, ideal time for spy baiting. So, man, we're right into that portion. We're on the late summer, early fall tactics. We're just about into September, so it is the ideal time to go out there and do some spy baiting. So again, $13.99 is what you would pay normally for this bait. And again, shop that around, because I bet you that you're not going to find it for $10.99 in very many stores. Or if you do, they're probably out of stock, or they don't have this awesome color available. So while you're on therealshot.com, using that code DRSBA, look around. Maybe there's some other colors too from Duo Realis and the Spinbait that we didn't hit on, or that maybe they're not on sale, but because we're saving you money on this one, you are going to head and be able to add some more baits to it. Lifelike eye to it. We got that flashy saunter to it. A lot of vibration, a lot of flash. This thing will absolutely catch some more fish. And once Kyle gets back, I'm going to see if he'll take me out and we can do a little spy baiting for ourselves. So real long casting distance, fish it like a countdown, let it drop anywhere between that 4 to 20 foot range, and go ahead and catch yourself a pile of fish. And this is one thing too, again, talking with like Kyle and Brian Keller, they're like, man, maybe people should start trolling something like this. So there's a tip for you. So if you haven't trolled this thing for walleyes, I bet you it would work, and I bet you it would trigger fish when not all baits will work. So again, it's a great quality product from Duo Realis. You see it on the screen, all the order information. So add 1, add 5, add 8 to your cart, and then you might buy us all out, but that's okay. But don't check out yet, because we have a ton more products coming up. And next up, after the Duo Realis, we're going to be talking a little pan fishing here. One of my favorite things to do. So next up is the Southern Pro Panfish Assortment Kit. There's 81 pieces in this set. It basically gives you everything you need to go out there and catch crappies, perch, bluegills in some unique shapes and colors. So you will be right back for more TRS Live after these brief commercial breaks.
I'm Gary Atkins, professional angler in the National Professional Fishing League. Tune in to TRS Live for the best deals on all your outdoor gear and apparel. If you're going to want a shot at the big bass, you're going to need the Real Shot. Take it from me, professional angler Gary Atkins.
It's Matt Trotz here with The Guided Life. We just met up with one of the guys from the crew, and he's like, they're on a hot track, so it's put her 4 high and get on these back roads and scream. Every year that I've been a part of that and I go to that class, I always learn something. So these guys are going to join me, and the reason I asked these 2 guys in here is because we got Travis, who does a lot of public land hunting, and then Judd and I are private land, owners and hunters for the most part as well. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. We'll see you on the next one. Welcome back, everybody, to TRS Live. I am your host, Matt Trott. So hopefully you learned a little bit about spy baiting. Maybe that's something you're going to pick up. Maybe you got an extra couple days here on a long weekend that you're going to go out there and do a little bit of fishing. This next one here is something that I absolutely love to do. I love catching bluegills, crappies, and perch. But this Southern Pro Panfish Assortment Pack has got basically everything you need all rolled into a nice convenient little kit here. Normal retail price $8.99. It is on sale right now for $6.50. SPPFA is the online code to go right to the product on therealshot.com. And remember, the deal that you see is only available at therealshot.com. So the product's available in store, but if you want that sweet deal and you're coming through the Appleton area, check out online and then do an in-store pickup. That is something that a lot of people don't know we have available. So if you're coming on a long weekend for vacation here and you're going through the Fox Valley area, you can say, hey, I want to pick it up in store and check out the rest of the products that the Real Shot carries, or I want to talk to the staff here. You can also do that on therealshot.com. So again, we hit on the fact that $8.99 is normal retail price for this kit, $6.50. An 81-piece set of premium Southern Pro plastics in perfectly matched jigs. It is also made in the USA. So as I grab one of these kits, too, the cool thing about it here is there's the jigs that come with it. Excuse me. There's a lot of unique styles of plastics available in this kit. There's your tube jigs, which when I started pan fishing and crappie fishing, the tube jig was one that I caught a ton of fish on, and I caught a lot of different fish on. Tube jigs are super popular for smallmouth, largemouth, and also walleye. So why not make it downsized for panfish? Then it's got some of your curly tail grubs in here, which is also a staple for pan fishing. Then it's got some craw style baits in this pack, which again is something very popular. And I think those craws, I probably can tell you that those would probably work really good for some river smallmouth fishing. Rock bass, you know what? I saw somebody a couple months back had a rock bass tournament on a lake. I think that's a great idea. So these plastics would work great for that. Then they got kind of a cricket spider style plastic in here. Now, one thing I want to kind of forewarn you about is not all kits are built the same. So here I have two different kits in front of me. A lot of the colors are all the same here, but then that little spider looking bait, I got two different colors in that pack. So it's kind of unique, I think, how they do that. It's like a little magic trick. But then again, it's got some of the right jigs to rig these things with. If you're rigging it tube style, remember, go through the body of the bait. Poke your eyelet out the hole. But these jigs too have nice keepers on them, so if you're just going to rig through the top or the back of the craw style bait, run through the body, there's a nice keeper on those jigs, and they are perfectly matched to go along with these awesome plastics in here. And Andy, you know what, because I like this deal so much, bring the flames in. This is a TRS real deal of the day. Ooh, don't melt those plastics, buddy, before somebody purchases them. Again, so a great product. Right now, a great time of year. Fall fishing is getting ready to fire up. Panfish will be starting to feed up. Check those fish out. They may be suspended over basins. They may be offshore. They may still be inshore depending on the water temps. But this is a perfect opportunity to use some of these. And there's different techniques to fish them as well. This could work slip bobbering. One of the ways that I like to fish, especially like the tube style jigs here that come in the Southern Pro Panfish kit, is under a bobber. So I'll throw it out and I'll just kind of swim it in, use that bobber as my indicator. When that bobber goes down, set the hook, and hopefully you got the right fish on there. The other thing too is you can also just fish it on themselves. So if you just have, you want to cast out, let that bait slowly fall through a school of crappies that are suspended over a basin, this is the perfect style bait for that and a perfect kit to complement you. And the other thing that we'd like to talk about here on TRS Live is when you're building a tackle box for somebody, whether it's a new beginner fisherman or even an experienced fisherman, this kit right here is something that complements any tackle box out there. Whether they say they're a hardcore bass fisherman, walleye fisherman, muskie fisherman, when you go out there you locate a school of perch. Right now, I know the perch are really firing on the Bago systems and on the bay, and hopefully crappies and bluegills and perch are firing in your area as well. The last thing you want to do is like, geez, look at that school of fish, and I don't have the right tackle to go ahead and catch those fish. have this nice little kit. I almost threw it at you out there. Can we do 3Ds type stuff? Can I like throw this at the camera, Andy? Does that affect anything if I break the camera? My face doesn't break it enough. But anyways, have this nice convenient little kit right here. Have this in the boat. Have an ultralight rod available with you. You know what? When you say you're muskie fishing on the bay and the muskies just don't want to play that day, go ahead and grab one of these kits and catch you a supper. Catch you a limit of perch, catch you a limit of nice quality bluegills or crappies, and go home and have some meals for that. So, because kind of like the Spinbait, let's talk about some of the products that can go along with it. Now, for pan fishing, right or wrong, I am strictly a mono guy. I think it's simplicity. I just like the way it casts. I like the ease of the knots. I like everything with it. So for me, the Trilene XL, the smooth casting here, this is what did I grab, a 6-pound. I also like the green for that. Some of the waters that I fish are kind of clear, maybe a little bit stained. So the green here of the Trilene XL smooth casting line, that 6-pound, a big old spool, so you can fill up 1 reel, 2 reels with it, a nice filler spool here, but you got the strength that you need. It's got great knots, holding capabilities, great sensitivity, low recoil. Plus, it's pretty inexpensive, so you replace it every year and you're doing all right. Now, the rod selection, this one for me, I had to learn the hard way. When I first started pan fishing a long time ago, I was ultralight, and I was like 5 foot, 5'3". Then I realized that that's perfect for stream fishing, for trout. Not so much for pan fishing, especially if you're doing any bobber fishing. So I upgraded. I went to something that was around that 6 foot to 6'6" range. My hook sets increased. My fish stayed pinned a lot longer. And when you're fishing small tackle like you see here, that longer rod allows you to pick up slack a lot better and drive that hook set home, but it gives you a long distance casting capabilities as well. So again, I went down. I was talking to the staff at the reel shop. And I'm like, I needed really good quality panfish style rod to talk about. So what did I get? I got a Fenwick here. This is a Fenwick. It's a 7-foot light moderate. So again, it's something that can handle 1/16 ounce to 3 ounce lures. And then that line capabilities are that 2 to 8 pound range. But this is a really nice rod. It is a one-piece too, so you don't sacrifice any of that junction point weakness and sensitivity. It's a nice one-piece rod, very lightweight, very affordable, coming in right around that $60 price range. And then again, one of the reels that I personally own that I like too is the Seamar here. This is a Kuma. This is a Seamar C20. Again, it's a really good quality reel for what you're doing here. It can handle a good amount of line for what you're looking to. It's got a smooth drag, very smooth reel. Let me move this tag out of the way. But then, a good drag system, especially for, if you get some of those bigger panfish on, say you're, in the southern U.S. and you get into some of those big old white crappies, this reel is going to do a nice job for you. So partnering this up, I think total, this is like a $90, $100 total combination, which for some people that might be on the higher end, but that's super affordable. And if you treat it really well, like I would not give this to my dad. My dad would have this broken in the day. He is a hardcore gear angler. He likes to break stuff. But it's like, you know what, Dad, if you ever want to upgrade and I can have some good quality products, this one is right here for you. So it's really smooth, 7 foot. Again, it's going to give me the ability to cast that light baits out far, pick up slack on the line. It also has a good enough backbone too if I wanted to do a little slip bobber fishing with it. So it's the Fenwick here. It's a really nice rod. It's an Eagle. I think it's like $60, and the reel again I think is in that $35 to $40 price range, somewhere around in there. So that's a very affordable kit when you're fishing my TRS Real Deal of the day here, the Southern Pro Panfish Assortment Kit. There's 81 pieces in this set. Again, we talked about the fact that it's a premium Southern Pro plastics with the perfectly matte jigs and two. And the nice thing is right as we roll into Labor Day, it's made in the USA. So to me, it's a no-brainer. And you can see some of the unique colors there, some of the unique shapes. That twister tail body is going to help catch the right amount of fish, and it will catch more than just panfish. So go ahead and check that out. You see the online ordering code SPPFA. Normal retail price for this kit is $8.99. $6.50 is what you're going to get it for right now, only on thereelshot.com. And again, like talking to Kyle Carpenter, he's like, why is that product on there? We sell a ton of those. It's because We like to get a great product in your hands at a very affordable price. $8.99 is a great price to start with, but at $6.50 is even better. So go ahead and add a couple of those to the cart. Again, these are not high quality or high quantity inventories on a lot of this stuff. Some of this is onesie twosies, so you better not delay. You better add those to the cart. But don't check out quite yet. I still got a couple more products coming up. So the next product here that we have is one that we talked about before. It's the VMC Moontail. This is a hair jig in the 1/8 ounce. Color that you see on the screen right now is Blue Fire UV. So after we come back from these commercial breaks, we're going to be talking about the VMC Moontail jig in the 1/8 ounce in the Blue Fire UV pattern.
I'm Gary Atkins, professional angler in the National Professional Fishing League. I've been fishing professionally for 4 years. I spent 3 years as a pro in the Northern Opens, and now I've been fishing 1 year in the National Professional Fishing League. Tune in to TRS Live for the best deals on all your outdoor gear and apparel. If you're going to want a shot at the big bass, you're going to need the reel shot.
There's the boom right there, Gary Atkins, your smallmouth specialist.
Take it from me, professional angler Gary Atkins.
It's Matt Trotz here with The Guided Life. We just met up with one of the guys from the crew, and he's like, they're on a hot track, so it's put her 4 high and get on these back roads and scream. Every year that I've been a part of that and I go to that class, I always learn something. So these guys are gonna join me, and the reason I asked these 2 guys in here is because we got Travis, who does a lot of public land hunting, and then Judd and I are private land, owners and hunters for the most part as well. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. We'll see you on the next one. Again, and welcome back to TRS Live. I am your host, Matt Trotz, and boy, we are rolling here today. We're having a great time. I am learning so much about all these great products that the Reel Shot carries, so I hope you are as well, and hopefully you're seeing too that, holy man, they carry a lot of awesome products too. So this one here is the VMC Moontail jig. We've talked about the VMC Moontail jig before here on the show. This is the 1/8 ounce. It's the Blue Fire UV. You see the colors on your screen. You see the slender profile head, that big holographic eye. Let's get right into some of the specifications of why the Moontail jig just may be the right hair jig for you. So again, doing a lot of research on this bait. This is another one of those quality VMC products that you can find at thereelshot.com. It's got a 2-watt tech set hook. So if you see here, Scott, let me just part this hair. See that hook, Scotty? Is that working if I part that hair out of the way? Can you see that? Look at all that hair. That's some great bucktail. Okay, you see it now? That is what they call right there. That's the tech set hook. So that's a 2-watt hook. So it's got that locking curve to it. Again, I'll show you again here. Where you go. So you see that locking curve hook that maximizes hook sets and locks those fish in. So that's that tech set hook right there. The other thing too is look at all the beautiful bucktail on this thing. There's also some little shimmers in that bad boy too to just give it a little different appearance in the water. Wow, look at that. That is such a great shot right there. Great job, Scott. That is beautiful. Have you done this before? That looks awesome. And then we kind of roll here too while Scott's doing such fantastic work. Look at that holographic eye. And then here's one thing too, that as I turn it, notice that slender profile of that head. But you see here too, the colors go all the way around that jig head, and they run all the way through. Hand tied right here at the top, so it's going to hold that bucktail in place. But let's continue on. Man, that was such good quality work. Look at this. Can you see it, Scott? Can you see it? Come on, let's see your camera work here. Let's keep up with it. Look at them go. All right, so again, we talked about that Texet 2-aught hook for locking those fish in and keeping them pinned. Now, this is a real popular bait for walleyes, but you can probably catch just about anything that swims on this thing, especially in that 8-ounce size. That extra long shank too, and it's a high carbon steel hook. Needle point, so it's hooked all the way deep to the bone. That 3D holographic eye, let's talk about again. So that oversized, it's flat, and they refer to it as like, and I think I called it before on the show, like a Tums or an aspirin style head to it. That enhances the darting and the rolling action. So that was something that when they designed this bait, they really put some thought and some effort into it. You know, how could we change our hair jigs up to some of the competitors out there? And by going with that oversized aspirin style head with that huge holographic eye in there, that gives it that little bit of darting action, that gives it a more unique profile in the water. A rolling action that helps trigger fish when they really don't want to bite. And then we talked about that beautiful bucktail that you see here with the tinsel in it. Looks good. I think they stole it off of Andy's Christmas tree last winter. You know, that's a great job. They really hand-tied that one up really nice. But what they decided to do is they went with a low-profile, elongated bucktail. So some of the other brands out there, there's a lot of great quality brands out there, but overall I think this bait is right around 4 inches in profile. So it really streams out in the water, and then when you slack that thing, boy, does that bucktail really flare. Is that a word, flare? And then you get that tinsel look into it. It's just going to entice a lot of fish. And it, like we said, it gives it that lifelike action in it. And then the UV bright finish reflects more light too. So that paint job there around that head, that UV pattern. This is one of those great baits for either you're slow retrieving it, maybe you're hopping it along the bottom, maybe you retrieve, let it sink, kill style action. There's so many different ways to fish this. But this is a lot like that spy bait, right? When a fish gets a little tough, spring, fall, the hair jig catches fish when a lot of baits don't. And it's, again, one of those simplicity. It's a finesse style tactic of fishing. It's just streamline your gear. Downsize your gear. So, again, talking gear-wise, let's kind of get into it. So, before we talked about the TFO, that was that 7'6" medium light rod. That was the one that's right behind me. I kind of kept it around because it's a great application, not only for spy baiting, but this professional walleye rod would work really, really great for the hair jig as well. Let's see if I can tip this over. Nope. Okay, we're good. But one of the rods that you're probably familiar with, I don't know if you've heard of him, Max Wilson. They're really great anglers, fished a number of head-to-head events. But Max Wilson loves the JT products. And again, the Real Shot carries JT. They carry the TFO. They carry Fenwick. They carry St. Croix, Daiwa. I mean, we hit on a lot of those great products. But the one I kind of grabbed downstairs was the Black Rain. And I know that if you watch some of Max Wilson's videos, he absolutely loves the JT products. And the Black Rain, I think, is one of his favorites. Joe Okada, Brett King. Again, a lot of those top-end walleye anglers, they love the JT products, and there's good reasons why. Again, I like the simple ergonomical grip here to the reel seat. It gives you access right to the blank, so you can get some great sensitivity. Now, this one here is like a carbon composite, whatever you want to call it. That is fancy. It runs all the way through the reel seat. Real smooth, very well balanced. A short butt handle on this thing. Where do I gotta go? There it is. See it right here? Short butt handle, kind of wrapped in that Sure Grip tape, but a very, very well-balanced reel. And I just stayed with that same Daiwa Fuego reel, high capacity reel, great drag system, super smooth, gonna balance out this rod. Now, the one that I grabbed in particular was a 7'3". It's a medium. For this application, maybe a little on the stiffer side of it, But, you know, it's always nice to have that backbone when you need it to, that hook setting strength, that capabilities to it. You know, when you're fishing some of those big Green Bay walleyes and you're looking at 25 to 30-inch fish, having a little extra backbone, having the high-quality products that the JT offers, it may be the world that you want to live in. So, you know, again, you're running the line selection, braid to floral, run that anywhere from that 6-pound braid all the way up to that 10-pound braid, and again, your floral is probably going to match. And the one thing you want to pay attention to is on your floral selection, go with something that can handle abrasion. So if you're fishing a lot around the zebra mussels or some rocks, some structure like that, or some weeds, you know, that's something that you kind of got to pay attention to. So again, check it out at therealshot.com. But again, I'm just trying to highlight that the Real Shot carries a wide variety of products. So maybe for you, the 7'3" black rain in the medium, just a little too stiff for this application, which I'm thinking it's right on that edge. But then you like that TFO and that 7'6", that medium light action. Or shop around. I'm sure the black rain is available in a medium light. If you look around and you say you like something a little longer, you know, that 7'3" is a good purpose for long cast, line pickup, you know, and all that kind of stuff, especially with these 1/8 ounce baits here, these VMC moontail jigs. But this is a great rod. Now, it's a little on the higher end price-wise, but JT makes some phenomenal products. And two, the other thing when I was down there, I was kind of looking around, and they have the Tennessee handles available too from JT. So if you're like Joe Okada style, which I loved everything that Joe said, why he prefers the Tennessee handle, you know, those rods are available at therealshot.com. You know, like I said, if I like to fish again, my hands on the blank, gives me a lot better comfort and a lot better action. Maybe JT is the rod for you. So check out the black rains, whether you're in-store or online. Check out that TFO. But you're going to need to, you know, have the right rod reel set up to go along with these 1/8 ounce moontail jigs. Again, the color is the Blue Fire UV. We talked about that 2-aught tech set hook. That unique bend right there is going to help you get hooked up and stay hooked up. The aspirin style oversized head with the big holographic eye, the fantastic UV paint finishes all the way through and through, the elongated but yet slender profile of the bucktail with that tinsel in there to help give it a little more flash, adds that unique rolling, darting action that you want in a high quality bucktail jig, hair jig out there. And again, $4.99 normal retail price, and it's a 2-pack now. That for $4.99, you're going to go ahead and save money. It's $1 off, $3.99 right now at therealshot.com. But again, this is one too that this is a staple if you are a bass walleye fisherman. Having hair jigs for the right time when things get a little finicky, when things slow down, a hair jig will absolutely catch fish. And then you partner it with a great rod, great reel selection that the Real Shot carries. You should be well off to starting to put more fish in your boat as well. So again, it's the moontail jig in that 1/8 ounce. The color again is that Blue Fire UV, that UV we talked about, that bright finish, reflects more light, attracts the fish to your presentation, and allows you to have that tech set buried deep and keep that fish pinned all the way back to the boat. So another great quality product. The VMC is one that we're probably going to talk a lot more here because there's a wide variety of colors, and I think it's just one that you absolutely have to have in the boat. Now, the next product, I'm actually a little nervous to talk about this one here. So there are snakes coming up here on TRS Live. The Savage Gear 3D Wake Snake. Check that thing out. That thing is awesome. The color that we're going to be talking about is the black snake. It's 8 inches in profile. 3D scan. Couple of different ways to fish this thing. I can't wait to talk more about this one after we come back from these brief commercial breaks.
I'm Gary Atkins, professional angler in the National Professional Fishing League. Tune in to TRS Live for the best deals on all your outdoor gear and apparel. If you're going to want a shot at the big bass, you're going to need the Real Shot. Take it from me, professional angler Gary Atkins.
It's Matt Trotz here with The Guided Life. We just met up with one of the guys from the crew, and he's like, they're on a hot track, so it's put her 4 high, and get on these back roads and scream. Every year that I've been a part of that and I go to that class, I always learn something. So these guys are gonna join me, and the reason I asked these two guys in here is because we got Travis, who does a lot of public land hunting, and then Judd and I are private land, owners and hunters for the most part as well. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. We'll see you on the next one. Everybody to TRS Live, and yes, I am holding a snake here on the show. So I am Matt Trotz, and I am not approved to play with snakes on the show, so they had to give me a fake one, which is I'm all right with. I don't know about you. Sometimes snakes just creep me out. Indiana Jones. Shh. We have fun here. So it's the Savage Gear 3D Wake Snake. Check that thing out. What is it? It's got like 150 segmented portions to the body. I mean, this thing is all the way through and through an awesome looking bait. It is an 8-inch profile. The black snake is the color in particular that we are talking about here today. And I want you to look at the price on this one first and foremost. If there is ever a bait that you're like, man, should I ever fish that thing? Maybe I don't want to spend $19.99 on it. Well, don't do that. Spend $13.99 right now on therealshot.com and give this thing a try. This is a bass, northern. I bet you could even catch some smaller muskies on this thing. I just can't imagine the fun you would have throwing this 3D wake snake. 8-inch profile, 3D scan details based on a scan of a real snake. So it is perfectly matched a baby snake imitation. It is realistic, that is for sure. It's got like, can you see it? I know it's hard. Look at the head on this thing. This head, I'm gonna try to spin the head around. It's actually hooked me right now. Look at the head on this thing. It absolutely looks like a real snake. It is crazy the amount of detail that they put in this thing, even across the body. I mean, look at the skin on this thing. It is crazy, absolutely nuts. So like I said, it's kind of scanned off the base of a real snake, and it's the perfect imitation for a baby snake. So if you're looking to go out there and try something a little different, the 3D wake snake is something for you. And now this one too here, I'm going to ask, I want comments on the show today. I want somebody to let me know, have you had success with this thing? Have you thrown it? I mean, it is crazy. You look at all the segments to the body on this thing. It's going to give you a lot of gyration. It reminds me of what Andy looks like at a wedding on a dance floor. I mean, look at this thing. It's just crazy the way that body works through the water. So let's talk about how you would fish this bad boy here, the Savage Gear 3D Wake Snake. It is a surface or a subsurface bait. Now let's talk about how you can fish it in those two ways. So we have two separate line ties right here. So if you're wanting to fish it as a surface bait, you would tie right there. If you want to fish it as a subsurface bait with the bill, there is a line tie right here as well, so you can fish it in both different presentations. It has a realistic swimming topwater action, wide S swimming action, unique cable joints. So that's a nice thing too. Like when you look at here and all those segments to the body, they are like held together by that unique cable joint. So you don't have to worry about like it's a line or something like that where you're going to lose a segment after a while, catching a lot of fish on it. It just will absolutely hold. And the other thing too here is we talk about these number 4 treble hooks. And I know I'm all over the place. Look at that too. I just realized that the shiny bottom on this thing to really give it some more added presentation. But what they did too is they allowed the treble hooks to spin. Can you see that? See all those treble hooks? They have a swivel connection there, a barrel swivel. So what that's going to do is that's going to allow for better hook sets when you're fishing this bait. So it is a floating bait, just so you know. So obviously with the topwater bait, this thing will float on top of the water. So whether you're fishing it with that first line tie and you're fishing it on the surface, or you're fishing it as a subsurface bait, you know, you got a couple of different options. Were you talking to me, Andy? What was it? What kind of skill level do you have to have? Dude, I think anybody can fish this thing. I think from the very beginner to the novice, this thing I think can work for just about anybody. And that's the nice thing about it. So there's a couple different ways you're going to fish this thing, right? So whether you're subsurface, let's talk about that. That's more, you're just going to be a straight retrieve and you're going to let this bait kind of wake. So what it does is it gives it that S swimming motion, but it's just below the water surface. So it's like this, giving you that S motion, and you could pause it, then it would float up top. But it creates a lot of disturbance in the water with the bill. See the way that bill is flat like this? That helps, and it's actually kind of cupped. So it cuts through the water like this, and it creates a lot of wake. That's kind of why they call it a subsurface wake bait, right? So it cuts a lot of wake in the water, so you can either straight retrieve it like that, or if you wanted to tie to the first line tie, you know, then you can fish it on top where you can just, again, the same thing, right on top of the water, let this bait work. And I would say with something like this too, the longer if you pause it, and those fish get an absolute chance to see this bait and realize that it's supper coming by them. Have you guys eaten snake before? Have you ever had snake? I never had it. Would you try it? Let me know. But anyways, you know, again, something on top. The skill level, I think anybody can use this thing and have success with it right off the bat. Now, one of the things too is the way it's designed. You're probably not going to throw this in the thickest and nastiest cover, obviously, because there's very little weed protection here. That bill is going to help knock away some of the weeds, but it's probably going to get caught up. So this one, you're kind of fishing through some sparse cover, just on the edge of the lily pads, up along shore, you know, under a tree, so it gives it that presentation or that realistic appeal, like a snake literally fell out of the trees. You know, once you get good with those casting abilities, you know, fish this thing under trees, along docks. There's a lot of different places that this thing would work, off of isolated grass humps, a lot of rock humps, a lot of different areas that this thing would catch fish. And then as we're talking about it, if anybody's wondering, it is 1 ounce. It is a 1 ounce bait too that you see on your screen right now. It is the Savage Gear 3D Wake Snake in the black color. It's the 8-inch style. So for gear, I like to go over that kind of stuff. So I again went down to the reel shop floor, picked up some rod reel combinations here. Now this one first and foremost, because we're talking about Savage, I grabbed a Savage rod that we carry. This is a BattleTech rod. It's a what did I grab? A 7.4 medium heavy, which is probably going to be the ideal rod combination for this. That 7'4" gives you that long casting distance, allows you to pick up that slack. I did partner it with a Lew's Mock Crush in this orange. The reason I went with this one too, because you kind of get that hunting look to it. You got that kind of camel, army green color here. Then you got that burnt orange, almost, you know, an orange finish. Remind me of like deer season. So I went with that one. You know, the Lew's, I like this one. I personally own this reel. And I have a Savage rod as well. I don't have the BattleTech, but I have a Savage rod as well. And I really like both of them in combination. The high-speed Lew's, this thing casts a long distance. So a bait like this 1 ounce bait, this thing is going to do a very good job. It also has a good braking system to it, so you can really lock down it. And I grabbed a lefty. Yes, I like the real lefty. But this BattleTech, if you're going to fish a Savage snake, you might as well fish a Savage Gear rod. Again, 7'4". Fishing it with a braid is what you're going to do because you want something that floats, whether you're fishing it as a wake or a subsurface bait or a topwater bait. So again, I went down to the line selection there at the reel shop, and I grabbed the Cortland. This is a master braid. I grabbed it in that 30-pound. It's kind of that darker color too. It's that darker green color here. Cortland, again, it's a 150-yard spool, so if you want to put a little backer on there so you can get 150 yards on there perfectly, you can do that. But again, just another brand name that the Reel Shot carries down there. I grabbed it in that 30-pound. Depending on where you're fishing or the style of fish, maybe you want to go to a heavy style in that 7'4", anywhere from that 7 foot to 7'4" range, especially if you're not a very tall person. Anywhere from medium heavy to heavy is probably the world you want to live in for that. But when I grabbed this battle tick rod, I'm like, man, this thing just looks wicked awesome. Kind of the engraving in the foregrip and the butt grip of it adds a little better, lock-in portion here for those big-time hook sets that you're going to get on this thing. It looks sweet, and then whatever reel you like to grab, whether it's the Luz or just whatever your favorite Daiwa, Abu Garcia reel is out there. There's a lot of options. The one reason I grabbed this too is because fishing a bait like this, you're going to have to get those hook sets, and you're going to have to stay on the reel. This has those those big grips to it, and they actually have some pro tape on there as well. So the reel don't slip. Some of the other brands out there, I absolutely love them, but I'm going to start to upgrade a lot of mine to a big power handle on there, just especially for flipping. It makes your life so much easier and allows you to grip, and you don't have to worry about it at all. So again, just kind of highlighting some of the different rod reel combinations that the Reel Shot carries. But the Savage Gear 3D Wake Snake is the bait that we're talking about. Normal retail price $19.99. Right now, $13.99 only on thereelshot.com. And this is, I can tell you right now, I think there's like 5 of these available. So this is one of those deals you're not going to want to wait on. That unique spinning style treble hook there too. Number 4 style treble, super, super sharp. The ability to with 2 different line ties, the lifelike 3D appearance, so it looks like a baby snake. Fish it on top, fish it as a subsurface bait, and go ahead and get a lot of blow-ups, and make sure your GoPro has full batteries because you are going to need it fishing this thing. And if you do have success on this bait or any of the baits that we talked about today on TRS Live, please do share them with us. Go to the Reel Shot Facebook page, share them there, share them to an Instagram page, share them to the TRS Live Facebook and Instagram page as well. We want to hear your success stories, and we also want to hear your testimonials. So again, everybody, don't forget the Labor Day sale has also started. So not only did I save you money on TRS Live, the Reel Shot wants to continue to save you money. The Labor Day sale started August 29th, runs all the way through the 5th. Take advantage of the great deals in store and online for that Labor Day sale. There's probably a ton of products on here that would be perfect for you. You can see we got some plastic deals there. There's some waterfall deals, some hunting deals there. Looks like they got a gift card promotion on this side. So go ahead and grab yourself a flyer. Go to the reelshot.com website. You've already been there checking out the products that we've been talking about today, but go ahead and save yourself some more money. So I'm going to wrap this one up. Thanks everybody for watching. It was an absolute great time, and I hope you enjoy the long weekend. Make sure to be safe out there. Make sure to have a lot of fun. And if you do have success with anything that we used here or any products that you can purchase at thereelshot.com, please go ahead and share them with us on our social media pages. So I will talk to you, everybody, real soon, every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 9 a.m. Central Standard Time. So enjoy the rest of your day, everybody, and I'll talk to you later.